This is part 2 of styling a yew in a pagoda style. 12 months ago, well, almost 12 months ago, last December, I took this raw material. Here's a photograph of it now. And I actually did a video of stripping that tree out and in effect channeling the new growth into the areas that I wanted. As you can see, the tree has responded really well. You've given me good strong growth. This is a really good time to work this tree. We're just coming into winter now. This is actually September 2018, and it's I'm going to start work on this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to again remove stuff that I know I don't want. A lot of these vertical growths. I'm going to thin out the top considerably because there is a lot of energy going up to the top of the tree, and I need to again bring some of that energy into these branches here. So it's going to be a process. I'm going to wire it. This does cause me a concern because it's actually quite it's substantial, and really it needs to be a lot less dominant than it is. For me now, after much consideration, I do consider this to be the front because there's some fantastic deadwood all the way up the tree, right the way to the top. The other side does have some great features, in particular down at the Nabari, where it's the deadwood comes right down to the ground. This would be nice to actually see this, but I think there's certainly a lot more interest around this side, as you can see. Some really nice deadwood. This has never been gin sealed, it's never had any lime sulfur or anything put on it. And the wire that I'm going to be using copper in different thicknesses to achieve the result that I want. I will be cutting back some of this growth, but I'll also be leaving some of the growth really to let these branches thicken up more. And the structure I'm going to be putting in place really is in consideration for what's going to take place next year, where we'll be doing part 3. So let's get started. So what I'm doing here is we've got very good branch structure forming here. I'm taking out this strong leader, not all the way back obviously because it will die back slightly. I've done that on a number of the branches. There's another one here. Just take these strong leaders out. You can see this one. This one needs to come out because it's far too strong. We've got some really good back budding taking place here, so again what I'll do is I'll take the ends out here because this is really where I want my growth. I don't want my growth down at the end here. As you can see, I've thinned out this lower branch. What I've got is a nice good first branch here with a little branch going in the back. So what I'm going to do in actual fact is I'm going to gin this little branch here because we've got lots of little gin sticking out, and it'd be quite nice to put one at this end here. So I'm going to be using bark strippers to take this off. there's a lot of character in here as well, which is nice. Lots of movement. And I think one of the problems I had with this bottom branch was it was very confusing, all the different little branches coming from all directions. So making sense of it, I think, is important. There's a lot of confusion around the top here, so it is, as I say, there's a lot of energy obviously going right to the top of the tree. So what I've got to do is I've got to sort this out. I do like this tenjin that's sticking out the top, but I also need to be able to see a lot of this going on. So I've got to really clear this out and just define exactly the branches that I'm going to use. Get a lot of this very strong growth removed. It will come back very quickly. And as you can see, about the last hour, clearing out all the branches that I didn't want, which were growing vertically or were too thick. It's a lot more sparse, as you can see, but the great thing about this is I've got all the branches exactly where I want them. And just to reaffirm, this is going to be little branches all the way up the tree, and obviously endeavouring not to cross the fantastic shari that runs all the way from almost the base of the tree right the way to the top. And as you can see, what we've done is we've thinned out that top, so that tension will stick out the top. I'm not using particularly thick wire. This is 1.5 mil, might even be thinner actually, 1.25. Copper, I like using copper. It holds it in place, and if I need to, I can double up on this. It won't turn these branches. The nice thing is I've got lots to work with. It'll be an almost finished image when you see it, but don't forget, this is only stage 2. Stage 3 will be creating more ramifications. Stage 4 will be refining, and those will take place over the next few years. So let's get some wire on. I like to start from the top and work down. I know a lot of artists start from the bottom and work up, but really I think if I started down here I'd be bumping into this as I'm wiring further at the top, but let's concentrate on the top. It's 11 o'clock, so it's tea time. It's tea time in my my Mr. Tickle cup. You can see the tree is slowly coming together. The thing to understand at this stage is that these branches are too long, because really I want the branches to be very small in here and tight. So I'm not interested in these long bits that are sticking out. This is good because the tree is very thin. It's not a big fat tree. It can't have big wide branches. So as I say, these branches are going to be very tight and small in here. And what I'm doing is I'm thickening these branches, because really a yew tree buds back on that older wood than it does on this young stuff. So really the next stage is going to be hacking it back hard and letting it really bud out, which is what you can see here. these are really nice and tight. So the finished image is, it's going to be giving you an impression of what it's going to look like, but it won't be a finished, hey, doing that, bonsai. So I'm going to have my tea and continue to look at this, and we'll see how it develops. So there's the basic structure in place. The branches are left long so that these will thicken up, and these will make good solid pads in here. So again, I say this is going to be cut in. I'll produce a virtual how I see this tree eventually developing, and as you'll see, these will be the only long branch is probably going to be this one here. This will be the furthest extremity. You know, down at the base. This will be quite a long one, but all of these will be tied in. This will be much smaller on the top, you know, really just about this area here. But for now, that's the work for this year. This is stage 2. I'm looking forward to stage 3.